On June 19, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, the last black Americans in enslavement were finally told they were free. 1 year later, black Texans commemorated the day, now known as Juneteenth. In 2021, President Biden and Vice President Harris signed into law the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. This was a long time coming, thanks to tireless years of work from leaders like Ms. Opal Lee, who is considered the grandmother of Juneteenth. Now in its fourth year, the Biden administration is marking Juneteenth with several events, including this week's concert on the White House lawn. Joining us now is Director of the United States Office of Management and Budget, Shalonda Young. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Director Young, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I think so. There's two things. There's a commemoration and celebration of Juneteenth this upcoming week, which is, Michael detailed the history. And then there is, separate from that, what this administration is doing for black Americans. And you had the vice president with D.L. Hughley this week talking about what's at stake for black voters. I want to play that and then have you respond on the other side.
Everything's at stake. Think about it. We brought down black unemployment to the lowest level it's ever been. We've increased housing. We've done a lot more to do. A lot more to do. For example, how many black persons and white persons who have diabetes need insulin? They're paying $400 a month if they're a senior. Now everybody's paying $400 a month. Now they're paying $35.
President Biden on D.L. Hughley's radio show. I've been up too early. There are folks that would say Juneteenth is great, lovely, the celebration on the White House lawn, love it. But what is this administration doing for black people? What do you say to those folks?
Well, Simone, I say the same thing. It's great to celebrate. We should always take a moment, acknowledge. I think we should all be proud that the president, working with bipartisan members, got this recognition and this day to reflect. I'm from Louisiana, so I always grew up hearing the stories next door about what led us to Juneteenth. But it's about doing what's best for the American people. So we celebrate for a day, we remember for a day, and that reminds us, invigorates us to get up and do work for the American people. Try to bring programs. My job, I get to look at investments. What investments get to people who have historically been left behind? Often people like the ones I grew up with. Not just the first black person who's run the budget office, but also grew up in a town less than 2,000 in South Louisiana. That perspective should mean something. So I certainly hope every day I get there, I bring that perspective of regular folks, because my family won't let me forget I'm a regular person, and they let me know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. So we celebrate, and we then take that moment, that day, and reinvigorate and remind ourselves we get up every day to make sure investments get to people, especially those who've historically been left behind. Look, this is about democracy. You listen to this president, and he puts it in the terms of, if people don't trust their government, if we don't remind people we're there for their best interests, this little experiment called democracy, that also helps erode. So I think about that in that context. He reminds us what the stakes are if we don't do our job well.
But Madam Director, I want to key on what you said, because you're absolutely right. For working families, black families, and in other communities that have been disadvantaged economically and socially and politically, looking to this administration, there are really good signs, not just signs, but actual data of success. When you look at, for example, the funding for black communities in the budget coming up in 2025, it's including maternal health, advancing equity across the nation, subsidized tuitions for HBCU students. There is a very clear, focus by the administration on those communities that are often left behind, those working families, those minority communities. How come it's not translating? How come they're not getting that piece, that experience that you just talked about, that this administration is actually there fighting for them, and that they see that? You have the list of good achievements from, job creation, et cetera, but it's just, what's the translation problem?
You're right. It's a feel. Also, I think I'd miss the mark if I tried to tell people how to feel.
Right.
I think prices are too high. Like, if we don't acknowledge that there are some things, some real pocketbook issues that are still front of mind for people, we miss the mark. Yes, this president's added 15 million jobs, more than any president in a 3-year period. Yes, we saw in 2023 the lowest black unemployment on record. Yes, inflation is coming down by 60%, but we have more to do. Now, on that front, I worked in Congress for 15 years almost. The president has done what he can himself and with the help of Democrats in Congress, passing cap on insulin for $35, for example. But we have to take it a step forward, and Congress has to be a partner with us. If you care about bringing down costs, why won't you partner with the president when his budget says, hey, maybe families shouldn't go broke paying for affordable child care? Maybe we should have a universal pre-K. Maybe we should invest in Head Start. That's not just good for children and families. That lets women and men get back fully in the workforce. That makes sure you are paying only 7% of your income if you take up our child care proposal on child care. Otherwise, what are families doing? They're not allowed to fully integrate into the economy. They drop their kids off at places that they don't feel comfortable in. So we are doing all we can with the tools we have, but we need a Congress who is willing to not just say this costs too much. Work with us. We put proposals forward. If you like insulin capped at $35 if you're on Medicare, let's work to do that in the private sector. His budget is asked to do that. We need a Congress who's willing to not just talk about it, but do something.
There's something of a misnomer about the way we talk about all of these issues, right? As though there are black issues and Latino issues, because there are. There are challenges that disproportionately face each community. But something like, bringing down or improving maternal health, that makes life better for all Americans, right? Having greater access to higher education, even if the resources are going to one specific group, that changes the pool of employees for businesses across this country. Sometimes I think when we talk about these things that are targeted and need to be targeted, part of what gets lost is that doesn't just benefit that community because we live in community with one another.
You know what has just shocked me? Things we used to work on a bipartisan basis, equity, diversity, when did that become controversial? Yeah. I told you I'm from a small town, rural town. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it's hard. It's hard coming, I tell my friends from the city, you think it's hard when you don't have a large income to make it in the city. Go to where I'm from and see how hard it is if you aren't given opportunities, especially in education. Those affect everybody. When we talk about equity, it's helping rural folks. It's helping those disproportionately left behind, black folks. If we all do better, it's not taking anything from anybody. It's trying to make sure that all Americans have access. Again, it's about this little experiment called democracy. If people lose faith in their government, if we aren't seen invested in communities that don't feel a part of the American dream, and give people opportunity to make sure their kids, like my 2.5-year-old, have a better life, we're not doing our jobs.